This appointment of David Weiss stinks. David Weiss is someone who sat on his hands for years, allowed multiple alleged crimes, their statute of limitations, to expire out. David Weiss is someone who signed off on the sweetheart deal for Hunter that fell apart, the plea deal. And so I don't know, look, maybe it'll be another 4 or 5 years until Weiss actually comes forward with something. We don't know.
Trump advisor Jason Miller isn't the only Republican who's big mad over Attorney General Merrick Garland doing exactly what the Republican Party kept urging him to do over and over again. Appoint a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden and potentially link Hunter Biden's foreign business deals to Joe Biden and a potential quid pro quo, right? That's the whole point of this investigation. It's not just about Hunter Biden, it's about implicating his father, Joe Biden, for political reasons. Now, even though Republican senators like Marsha Blackburn specifically wanted Merrick Garland to appoint David Weiss, now all of a sudden Republicans are upset that Merrick Garland did just that. Now, let's get to the details here. Why are they so upset? After Garland elevated Weiss, David Weiss, to special counsel status, Republicans in Congress reacted with outrage. Quote, David Weiss can't be trusted, and this is just a new way to whitewash the Biden family's corruption, end quote. Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee wrote on Twitter. It's Twitter, let's just call it Twitter and move on with our lives, okay? Yep. Now, Republican Jason Smith, who chairs the House Ways and Means Committee, complained that the reality is this appointment is meant to distract from and slow down our investigations. No, Jason, the whole point of the investigation is to be a distraction. It's politically motivated. The Republican investigation into Hunter Biden has failed to implicate Joe Biden. But they keep moving forward with it because they're looking for something comparable to the indictments that Donald Trump is dealing with in order to, in their minds, I think, even the playing field for the 2024 presidential election. Even Lindsey Graham cried about this. Senator Lindsey Graham slammed the appointment despite signing the letter last fall. This is a political, and by the way, the letter was to urge Merrick Garland to appoint special counsel Weiss, okay?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, this is a political decision by the Biden administration to fix their political problem. I think they poured gasoline on a political fire, Graham told News Nation.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Got a lot more to get into on this story, but it's just hilarious to me. They demand something, they get what they want. Merrick Garland finally relents, gives them exactly what they've been wanting. And now they're like, no, this is terrible. Weiss is this and Weiss is that. Look, at the end of the day, even appointing a special counsel for this like sham investigation really does end up helping the Republican Party, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, look, guys, I told you about this last week and they've just kicked it into overdrive now, where they're complaining that they got exactly what they wanted. But at the national level, almost every Republican politician is a notorious liar. Like, just no brakes in that car at all. I mean, and this is a perfect example of it. So when I say things like that, I want you to remember this story, let alone hundreds of other stories, where they'll literally say, if you don't have a special counsel and it has to be this Weiss guy, and then they're like, okay, fine, you get it. You get Weiss, who's the special counsel. They're like, I can't believe you appointed the special counsel Weiss. And both of them show the fact that you didn't appoint him and the fact that you did appoint him both show you how crooked you are. And they know he knows he signed the letter. They all know that they wanted this exact thing to happen before. They're brazen liars, like ridiculous, psychopathic liars. And so what does mainstream media do? I can't tell, 50-50. 50, come on, 50-50 with these guys, come on.
Okay, so let's get into why they might have supported the appointment of David Weiss initially, including last fall when they signed this letter, versus how they feel about David Weiss now. Apparently, they have soured on Weiss because of a plea deal that he worked out in the prosecution of Hunter Biden. Let's give you the details on that. Since Weiss announced a proposed plea deal in June with Biden, meaning Hunter Biden, an agreement that would have allowed him to avoid jail time on tax and gun charges, but has since fallen apart, Republicans in Congress have sharply criticized the government, accusing the Justice Department of leniency with the president's son as they conduct their own investigations in an effort to tie his overseas business dealings to the president, something they have so far failed to do. Now, Hunter Biden has broken laws. tax laws, and he obtained a weapon, a gun, when he wasn't supposed to. So having in his possession an illegal gun is part of what he is being prosecuted for. And Republicans are mad that David Weiss worked out a plea deal that would have allowed Hunter Biden to avoid seeing the inside of a prison cell.
Yeah, so look, you can come up with a bunch of excuses. So here's another one. Well, before we wanted him prosecuted, but now it's at an inconvenient time because golly gee, we were just about to show the evidence. And then now because of this, we can't continue our hearings, et cetera, which we're gonna get to in a second, right? But guys, if they were against appointing a special counsel, like they changed their minds, right? It could happen, people change their minds. They would have said it earlier. They would have said, no, don't you dare appoint a special counsel because we're about to release this evidence. And we definitely don't want it to be David Weiss. They didn't do any of that stuff. They just said, give us David Weiss, give us special counsel. And then as soon as they got it, they're like, no, we don't want it. We don't want it.
No, it's amazing. It is amazing.
And I told you on that day that we covered this story the first time, I think it was on Friday, they're gonna now say like, oh, we were gonna give you the evidence. It's like my sister, I've told this story 100 times. I love my sister, we're great friends now. But when we were tiny kids, we got this chocolate bunny, the infamous chocolate bunny story. And she says she ate it, not just hers, but mine, okay? And then I said, well, where did my chocolate bunny go? Well, I was gonna give it to you, but you did this. And whatever it was, like some infraction.
Yeah, rationalizing
exactly.
the bad deed. Yes.
That's why I had to eat your chocolate bunny.
Yeah.
And so you're about to see James Comer do exactly that.
Okay, but I gotta give you more context, right? Because apparently there are like multiple investigations into the Bidens happening simultaneously, right? So James Comer chairs the House Oversight Committee, and apparently they were planning on or had already subpoenaed David Weiss to testify before the committee. David Weiss apparently verbally agreed to testifying before the House committee. And now Comer, along with other Republicans, are arguing, well, now that he's the special counsel, he could reject our calls for him to testify before us. In fact, here's Comer making that argument on Newsmax.
Here, we on the Oversight Committee, for all practical purposes, have been the special counsel for the past 6 months. We've produced more evidence than anyone that's supposedly investigating this criminal activity by the Biden family. And right as we get to the point to where we've traced it to Joe Biden, and we're at a position where we can win in court to fight their attorneys and get their actual personal bank records, he comes out with this. This is another attempt to try to obstruct. They're going to try to use this in court when they say, no, we can't give the Oversight Committee our bank records because there's an ongoing investigation by David Weiss.
Then why did you want a special counsel? Why did they want a special counsel? Why did they want it? Why did you want it? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why did you want it? And if you changed your mind and you no longer wanted it because you guys in the House Oversight Committee were acting as special counsel in the investigation, why didn't you hit up Merrick Garland and be like, yo, homie, we don't need the special counsel anymore. We're doing our own investigation. He didn't do that though, did he?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, look, guys, I mean, it's so 1984.
God.
He's being prosecuted and Comer's calling the prosecution an obstruction.
Come on!
Like you wanted him prosecuted, and now the Biden administration makes a big deal out of we're prosecuting the president's son, and they're like, you're obstructing justice. And the call for him to be the special counsel was just a little while ago. So if it was just a little while ago, you didn't think, hey, if we get the special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden like we want, then we won't be able to get his bank records and we won't be able to get this or that. That just occurred to you right after he was appointed? It didn't occur to you before he was appointed?
You know what, maybe.
And then you were calling for his appointment?
I mean, Comer doesn't strike me as the brightest, brightest person on the planet.
No,
so maybe, I don't know.
No, look, the thing that drives me crazy, I gotta be honest, and this is a great example of it, is that we have debates with liars. And so it makes the truth and the lie look like a 50-50 proposition, right? Even if this is such a great case of them being outrageous liars, right? Like, give me X. I can't believe you gave me X.
Totally.
Right? And so, but then even when you debate it and it becomes an issue, they're gonna win over at least minimum 25% of the country because they're not gonna hear all the details. Or they're just gonna hear the Republican side at a minimum 25%.
100%, absolutely.
So lying works.
It does.
It pays off for these guys.
Let me give you another element of the story that's gonna blow your mind, okay? So apparently, remember, there were these 2 IRS whistleblowers who were arguing that, there's a 2-tier justice system. Hunter Biden getting away with a lot, getting away with dodging his taxes, failing to pay his taxes, failing to report the income that he had as a result of these foreign business deals. And so those 2 IRS whistleblowers, Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler, even testified before Congress about this issue, right? Now get a load of this. The appointment of David Weiss actually ends up debunking or at least responding to some of the allegations by these IRS whistleblowers. One allegation made by the IRS agents was that Weiss had sought to bring charges against Hunter Biden in Washington and California, but had been rebuffed by prosecutors in those jurisdictions who declined to partner with him. Now, the order appointing Weiss to special counsel authorizes him to bring charges in any jurisdiction.
So in other words, other prosecutors were like, this is a garbage case. Okay, and so I'm not gonna help you with your totally nonsensical case that barely has any evidence, okay? And the Biden administration basically cheats on behalf of the Republicans and says, I don't care, we're gonna bring the case anyway. And then the Republicans cry anyway. They just cry and lie, cry and lie. That's their only pattern. Lie and cry, cry and lie. That's the only tool that they have in their arsenal. You're crazy if you believe a Republican politician, crazy.
Now, finally, I want to go back to Jason Miller, okay? The Trump loyalist, Trump advisor, because when he went on Newsmax, he gave the whole game away. He said the quiet part out loud. Because while they're crying about this publicly, in reality, they love this and they will in fact use this to their advantage for the 2024 presidential elections, assuming that Joe Biden does in fact run as the Democratic candidate. Let's watch.
The fact that a special counsel has now been appointed is a direct acknowledgement that Hunter Biden did something wrong. Why does this matter? Because Joe Biden stood on that debate stage and said, my son Hunter did nothing wrong. We now know that Joe Biden lied about that. He lied about the meetings. He's lied about everything. And as this special counsel moves forward, it's an acknowledgement, no, Joe Biden, you're lying, did something wrong. And in fact, this special counsel, I think, is gonna stick to the Bidens like a kick me sign all the way through the 2024 election. Another thing with this special counsel appointment, you never quite know whether it's a special counsel or independent counsel where they're gonna end up. The Durham report basically was a tree falling in a forest. Nothing happened. Years went by, it was pretty minimal. But you take, say, Ken Starr, who was the independent counsel, that started off on the mysterious death of Vince Foster and ended up with Monica Lewinsky. Once they start pulling at the strings on this, especially with Hunter and Joe and Frank and James, who knows where this thing goes?
In other words, this is the perfect fishing expedition that we want to go on. It's completely politically motivated in order to impact the results of the 2024 election. That's what this is about.
By the way, Durham went nowhere. That was Trump's appointment. And it was because you guys were lying and you made up something, but then Durham had to go into a court of law and he's like, oh yeah, I got nothing. But they're terrible, terrible. Weiss under Trump originally. So what are you guys complaining about? And look, he just admits it. Jason Miller's like, remember when we did Ken Starr? And by the way, that was again, we tricked the idiot Democrats into letting us investigate them, morons that they are, because they have a permanent kick me sign on them. And it doesn't matter what they do, we're gonna kick them anyway. Have you ever seen the Republicans go, oh no, Democrats are all right on this one? Never, I've never, like in the last 20 years, a Republican politicians saying, oh, let's be fair to Democrats, unless they're agreeing to some sort of giant corporate giveaway, right? So he's like, yeah, but when we got the morons to appoint Ken Starr, we went on a fishing expedition, like Anna said, and we started on something that we knew wasn't true because we're goddamn liars, we lie all the time. And then we wound up with a sex thing. We got him, right? And now I want to do that again. Oh, and what was his examples of lies from the Biden team? Biden said his son didn't do anything wrong.
On the debate stage, which is made for politicians lying, by the way.
What did you think he was gonna say? Like, okay, Like, oh no, I investigated my own son and I've decided that he did this wrong and he didn't hand in his homework in 3rd grade. No, he's gonna say my son didn't do anything wrong. That's your big evidence? You guys are so weak. Okay, and by the way, last thing, because we're the fairest show in America. I want a speedy trial for Hunter Biden, just like I want it for Donald Trump. I don't want this thing dragging out, and if the special counsel doesn't do anything until all the way through the 2024 election and they do it afterwards, then I'll join the Republicans in criticism and say, what are we waiting for? Why did you wait a year and a half to prosecute the guy? They should prosecute him right away and they should resolve it right away. Right, like meaning guilty or not guilty, let's go, let's go. Try him if you're gonna try him on your gun charges, and I'd like to set that precedent because then I could charge probably 98% of the Republican Party on those same gun charges. Tax charges, these minuscule tax charges, because I could charge 98% of Republican politicians on those same charges. You guys wanna set that precedent? Set it already, let's go, speedy trial, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because we don't give a rat's ass about Hunter Biden. I don't care if you've got all the evidence in the world. I don't care if you lock him up for 200 years. I'm not Joe Biden, I don't care. And watch, you'll see this. If Joe Biden drops out of the race, they'll instantly stop caring about Hunter Biden.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, this is about justice, is it? Watch, what they'll do is if Biden drops out, and let's say whoever the leader is, Gavin Newsom, then all of a sudden they'll be like, Gavin Newsom's aunt, did you know that she bought Girl Scout cookies, but did not share them with just girls? Okay.
No, but by the way, Cenk, let's be fair to Republican lawmakers who really do care deeply about individuals failing to pay their taxes, which is why they have fought tooth and nail to defund the IRS.
And their leader is Donald Trump, who cheated legendarily at his taxes and bragged about it.
Yep.
Bragged about it. If you bring those same charges against Donald Trump, who did it about 100 times more than Hunter Biden, they'd be like, persecution, deep state, our beloved dear leader. He's allowed to cheat hundreds of millions of dollars. Hunter Biden, that was $5. Go get him.
No, let's be fair. That it wasn't just $5 and he did break the law, okay? But let's just acknowledge the reality of how little the Republican Party actually cares about his crimes. It's this is all political and we know it.
Look, guys, I'm being hyperbolic. Again, I don't care about Hunter Biden. If he broke the law on the taxes and the gun charges, go get him, okay? And we all know he's not a Ukrainian gas expert and then one of the best artists in the country at the same time.
True.
We all know that. That's not the question. The question is, do you have any evidence tying him to Joe Biden? And Comer, Brian Kilmeade, all of these guys, there's smoke. There's smoke. You created the smoke out of your ass. It doesn't mean, there's gotta be a fire. Show me the goddamn fire, where's the fire? Oh, zero evidence, as always, because you're professional liars. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.